The invisible gorilla is the name of a famous and fascinating experiment conducted by Harvard roughly a decade ago, which went something like this. There were two groups of 3 people each, 3 in white shirts and 3 in black, with a ball for each group. The observer was asked to count how many times the group in the white shirt passed the ball around. As the two groups were passing the ball around, a humongous gorilla walked into the frame, pounded its chest, screamed and left the frame. After a minute and a lot of passes, the observer was asked the amount of times the white group passed the ball around, to which most of them answered correctly. Fair enough, right? But here's the catch. When they were asked about the gorilla coming into the frame and leaving the frame, and if they have noticed the gorilla, most of them, like 50% of them, more than 50% of them answered that they did not notice it at all, because they were so engrossed in watching the amount of times the white group passed the ball around. The reason this experiment is super fascinating and insightful is for 2 reasons. One, it shows how narrow our field of perception becomes when our attention becomes funneled into specific things, and 2, it exposes the idea of selective attention and how we only perceive the things that we want to perceive. Now in this video, I am going to demonstrate how to utilize the part where we only perceive the things that we want to perceive and rewire our brain into mainly perceiving the things, or rather the positive aspects of experiences. As humans, it is a well-known fact that we always find a way of dismissing all the positives of a given situation and focusing all our attention on the negative. Now, why I think this happens is for survival. In the olden days and sometimes in the modern day as well, failing to account for the negatives of any situation is far more dangerous than the positives, so we naturally evolved to focus on the negatives. But most of the time in the modern day, this works against us and is something that does not let us be in peace, because thinking this way always makes your mind be on fight or flight, which basically just takes a lot of energy and harmony away from you. To counter this, it is important to train your mind against this seemingly instinctive behavior. You can do it in the following 2 ways. As observed from the invisible gorilla experiment, the circumstances of our life are based on the stories we frame around it in our heads. For this, understanding the facts surrounding the glass half full and half empty experiment would go a long way in helping you frame positive stories and rewiring your brain to think positively. For those who are unaware of this paradox, in an experiment, a glass was filled with water towards the half of the glass, after which people were asked to describe what they saw. Some described the glass as being half empty and some described it as being half full. The experiment quickly divided the people who had an inclination towards the positive side of things and from those people who had a negative / incomplete side of things. A quick fact about this, I'll link this article in the description, but a psychologist named Susan Segerstrom, she observed that 10 years after graduation, law students who observed the glass as being half full earned roughly $32,000 more than their glass empty peers. This small experiment literally shows the significance of how important it is to be optimistic. Regardless of however dire your situation is, always strive to prioritize the positives of any situation, as even for selfish reasons, it only has the capacity to improve your life. In this day and age where people are getting increasingly cautious of judgments from other people, the answer to set concerns is not so obvious. The reason we fear the judgments of other people so much is that we ourselves are used to judging people at the drop of a hat, negatively judging people at the drop of a hat. So to encounter this natural behavior, make an active effort to think of one good thing about everyone that you come across in social situations. The rule of thumb is to be as detailed as possible, so instead of complimenting them in a shallow manner, I like their dress, dig a little more below the iceberg and compliment them properly. I like his dress, as the carefree nature of his syncs perfectly with the clothes that he's wearing. That said, important disclaimer, however, please do not be weird. Guys, don't be how on Wednesdays every week you come to the same place at the same time? No, right? Don't want you guys getting restraining orders, literally getting restraining orders after watching my videos. Please do not be weird, right? The more natural you are when it comes to these social situations, the better. Framing positive stories around every situation that I encountered made my mental health skyrocket and transform in real time. So I can tell you from personal experience that using the techniques that I've mentioned in this video has helped me be a lot more positive of a person internally, and has also certainly helped me regulate my mood, so I'm hoping it does the same for you guys as well. Hopefully this video has helped you in some way, shape or form. See ya.